organize and host this press conference for the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe to discuss this week's court ruling and to share their thoughts on the next steps in the effort to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline from crossing underneath Lake Oahe. Today we're going to hear from Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Chairman Harold Frazier, also from President Scott Weston of the Oglala Sioux Tribe, as well as from Royal Yellowhawk of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe, and from Madonna Thunderhawk, an elder from the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. They're going to give brief remarks and then we'll open it up to questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to begin by saying that we recently had a court hearing and I am very disappointed with the outcome. One of the things I kind of learned from this is that, you know, what the judge was saying, that there has to be a flow of oil before there's irreparable harm to the Sioux Nation. But in our culture, we look at it differently. Any type of drilling into Unchimaka, Grandmother Earth, is a desecration to her. And that is where we come from. So I'm very disappointed in the outcome. But we're gearing up and we're ready to continue to fight on. We do have a hearing coming up on the 27th of February in regards to preliminary injunction. And I'm really happy, excited that our other sister tribes in the Great Sioux Nation have filed as well. The Oglala Sioux Tribe in Yankton, and of course ourselves in Standing Rock have already filed in court. But,
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Weston. I am the president of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. I am here today because of what's happening in a negative aspect of how Native Americans are treated and have been historically throughout the history of the United States of America. We as Native American people are the first people that have always been here. And it's through our treaties that we base all of our fight on. Be it known that the Oglala Sioux Tribe did file on our behalf against the determination of what is happening because of the lack of respect of their own process without having to respect the EIS process and basically just stepping on their own laws by which they created for us to abide by. So we had no choice because we have, with the Clean Water Act, we have created back in the 80s, in 1980s, we have the Oglala Sioux Rural Water Supply System that supplies water to our tribe, to the Rosebud Sioux Tribe, to the Lower Brule Sioux Tribe, and the West River Lyman Jones tap-in. And not counting our own tribes that we, the tribal membership that we supply water to, we supply waters to 40 non-Native American towns within western South Dakota. And with that, and where that goes is that we may have to shut that down. You know, they talk about irreparable damage. That has no bearing on it. The city of Pierre, the city of Fort Pierre, will be damaged first, which is across the water from our state capital. You know, thereby going everything back to the west. And if we have to, we'll shut it down. But in the meantime, we have filed. We have put it out there that we stand with our sister tribes, as President, our Chairman Frazier said. We stand together because Unchimaka is what we live by. That's how we were raised. If we don't do it now, we just as well terminate all Indian country as we see it today. Thank you.
Oh, took out to watch the cheese buffalo, now le Skabella taco blow a trinktiki, and le chamoktalo. Good morning, good afternoon. Rosebud Sioux tribe through the 1851 with the Sioux and the 1868 Sioux Nation Treaty, the Rosebud Sioux tribe reserved by treaty from our original homelands, our permanent home and other lands, with the United States pledged to protect the Rosebud Sioux tribe as a reserved right to claim flow of water that are pertinent to our home, and the Winters Doctrine, the Dakota Access Pipeline, oil pipeline that threatens our permanent home. And therefore, the Army Corps of Engineer acknowledges that an environmental impact statement was necessary to consider the impact of potential impacts on the human environment and the Miniwi-Choni. So with that, back home during a session of Tribal Council, the Rosebud Sioux tribe authorized its legal counsel to join the lawsuit of the Oglala Sioux tribe in litigation as a plaintiff to protect the Miniwi-Choni water project and enforce the Sioux Nation tribes' water, hunting, and fishing rights to human health and environment. So with that, I'd like to say that where we live is very important to our generation, our seventh generation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Madonna Thunderhawk. I'm a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. Our reservation borders the reservation of Standing Rock, and we have shoreline on the Missouri. I think it's important to note that we are members of the Great Sioux Nation, which is Ochete Shakoin. And so there's all the tribal nations that are involved in the water issue. I've been up on the taken land under the Army Corps of Engineers. I've been up at the camp since August. There are many, many people there yet. We have several hundred, and they represent Native nations from all over. And our issue, of course, is treaty rights, and the damage that a pipeline drilled under the Missouri will have, because we know it's going to burst. We know this is coming. And so it's not just only our people along the Missouri, but all the non-Indian people, the hundreds of thousands that are downstream. So this affects everyone. But again, we are no longer, as Indian people, we are no longer the canary in the mine. It's everybody now, as everybody drinks water, wants clean water. So that's the bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the speakers. Now we'll open it up to questions, first from folks inside the room. Yes.
This is for the Oglala Sioux and the Rosebud tribe. Is there anything unique in the Oglala's lawsuit that Rosebud is joining that you think is going to be more persuasive in court than the existing litigation from Cheyenne River and Standing Rock?
I'll just repeat the question quickly for those who are online. Is there anything unique about the Oglala Sioux tribe's lawsuit and the Rosebud Sioux tribe's lawsuit as distinct from the others?
Basically, what our lawsuit is contesting is that they did not follow their own rules. They did not, how can I put that? They did not push any of the issues that they forced upon us. And that's what we are contesting. You know, the EIS, and we question mitigation. What is mitigation? That's the question that you need to find out, because they haven't answered their own questions for us. And when they didn't do that, that's where we started to come in, because we seen how we knew that Standing Rock and Cheyenne River were gonna get rolled over on. So we looked at that. We also questioned in the lawsuit, President Trump's.
We reached out because we have many members that wanna stay, and I think it's important. Myself, I think it's important that we maintain a presence there. I've been there, I've stayed in the camp. I was up in the front lines. So that's why we leased some land, some private land that's not too far from the drill pad site, so our members can be safe. Also, it is open. I believe the Ogallala members are gonna be joining us there, and, you know, come this spring, and, I mean, it's a tough call, and I cannot and will not answer for Standing Rock. I mean, that's better, that question needs to be to them themselves. But as chairman of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, I'm not asking people to come. I'm just saying that we have a camp there, and it's gonna be there for, number one, safety of our members and whoever, because it is gonna flood. I mean, I grew up along the river as well, so I know what's gonna happen.
So just to follow up, and thank you for your answer, I understand you're not speaking for Standing Rock Sioux, but speaking for Cheyenne River, your nation has rented land that people can come to and camp if they want to stand and be present, is that correct?
Yes, but it is not too big of an area, so, you know, I don't know if it could hold 10,000-12,000 like what was, you know, the people there before, but yes, we do got some land rented.
Is it your wish, not speaking for anyone else, just your nation, is it your wish that people would come, or would you prefer they helped in another way, and if so, in what way? I get asked that all day long by people, what should I do?
You know, I'm not putting a call out there to people, but I will say this. You know, the American government has failed us, but I strongly believe the American people have not. It is gonna get real dangerous and violent, in my opinion, come February 23rd. And if people come, they need to know what's in store. I've seen people get shot with rubber bullets. I was there when Sophia Walensky got her arm nearly blown off by a grenade. I've been tear gassed. I was shot. I know the type of excessive force that Morton County has used on our people. And like I said, it could get pretty dangerous. I'm hearing, I don't got the official facts but I did see this past fall, U.S. Border Patrol was down there near the camp. I seen their vehicles. So I'm not sure if the federal agencies will be called in. But, I mean, if people come, I mean, you know, it's a tough thing to do. And I, as chairman, I cannot call people to do any things that can get them hurt. I always said that if I feel something needs to be done, I will do it myself, or try to, and if people follow, that's great. If not, that's great too. But I think, considering the atmosphere, you know, we know North Dakota State has passed a law that it is legal to run over a motorist or a pedestrian that is walking or protesting. And that tells the mentality of them. So I wouldn't put it past them on what type of violence they would use to remove our people from that camp. But in all reality, what are our people doing? Majority of them are there in prayer. And it's really hard to be there because as a human being, I grew up where if I wanted to walk somewhere, I'm gonna go. I've never heard trespass. It's crazy with what has been happening up there. And mind you, all these things are on federal land. And when I talked to Colonel Henderson numerous times, he told me, as long as a tribe is at the camp, I have a trust responsibility of taking care of them. But now he has changed his mind and he has issued a letter that said, you have till February 22nd to get out. So I don't know if I answered your question.
You did, and I thank you very much.
The next question online comes from the line of Blake Nicholson with Associated Press. Please proceed.
Good afternoon. This question is for Chairman Fraser. Chairman, Executive Vice President with Energy Transfer Partners testified before Congress today, and he compared pipeline opponents to terrorists. I wanted to get your reaction to that. Do you feel that that's an unfair comparison?
Yes, definitely. You know, I've like I mentioned before, that night I was on the bridge, I can honestly say that nobody made any type of attempts to cross that barricade. I've seen no vulgar language that night. I've seen 3 water bottles being thrown towards the cops. I've seen and heard our people singing prayer songs, Sundance songs. And I seen from the cops shooting of rubber bullets, shooting tear gas canisters. I've seen them use water cannons on people when it was like 22 degrees. And that went on for hours. So I don't know how he could say and label our people as terrorists. Because what I've seen, Morton County are the terrorists.
Thank you.
The next question comes from the line of Tom DeChristopher with CNBC. Please proceed.
Hi, I guess this one is largely for Chairman Fraser, but Madonna, I know that you addressed on this as well last time we had a conference call. You mentioned that you do expect violence come February 22nd. I know there are a number of veterans group, including Veterans Stand and Veterans Respond, that have moved up there, and at present, currently, they tell me just working on supporting the campers, cleaning up, helping where they're asked to help. I'm wondering if you have had any conversations either with the general campers who are there, your tribe members, as well as the veterans, about what actions you will take to resist efforts to remove campers on February 22nd, and what the general strategy is.
We have been approached by some veterans, and they want to come and assist in moving the camp, cleaning it up. And so, but they wanted an invite from a tribe. And that's something that I'll be putting forth, that they're welcome to come and help. So, to help clean up, and that will be happening these next few days.
Have you issued an invitation to any of them? I was told by at least one group that they had already been invited to come back in limited numbers as resources allow.
Yeah, we did invite. I know that's one of the things I'm learning. There's many more than one group of veterans, and they all claim they're the group. But there's one group that we did invite to come and help clean up and move our camp, and so they'll be coming at any point, I believe.
Do you know which group that is?
What's that?
Veteran Stand.
Veteran Stands.
Okay, got it. And have there been discussions about what sort of protest tactics you may use come next week when the Army Corps of Engineers is scheduled to move the camps, or have people just sort of moved out of that area that they're thinking about at this point? I did have some veterans tell me that they had accepted some people from the main camp who are now at a higher ground at standing or at Sacred Stone. So, I mean, I don't know if you even anticipate that anybody will need to take any actions to resist being removed if they're already moving, but just wondering if that's a conversation that's been held yet.
No, we haven't had that type of conversation. The only conversation we had was to get the logistics determined and figure out how they could be best utilized to help us move camp.
Okay.
This is Madonna Thunderhawk. I just wanted to talk about your question about the 23rd and about potential violence. That kind of gets me, every now and then I think, yeah, everybody wants to know about that, but they never make the difference between violence from whom. Definitely not from the water protectors. We've always stood there peaceful. To this day, all these months, 7 months. The violence and any kind of weaponry, anything like that has always come from Morton County and the other powers that be that show up. We're under constant surveillance by helicopter. There's all kinds of, constant daily stuff going on. Yeah, there probably will be violence, and it'll probably come from Morton County or the Army Corps of Engineers. Simple as that.
Okay, I've been told that there are no more questions from those on the telephone. Are there any further questions here? Yes.
Why do you folks feel that the Corps of Engineers has done an about-face in terms of the EIS? Because in the fall, during the Obama administration, they had halted it, and then in short order, they've quickly, since President Trump has taken office, has now moved forward with approving the easement. Do you feel that this is a political move? Do you think it has anything to do with the administration?
I'll just quickly repeat the question for those online. It's essentially, why has the Army Corps done an about-face on the environmental impact statement?
This is a total issue from President Trump himself and his executive orders. We as Indian people, Native America, have been fighting this forever and ever and ever. And it just showed what America was all about right now. We never have a stance. We listen to the law. We abide by it. We signed the treaties. It's the government that is not upholding their side. Bottom line. We haven't done what they set us out to be. They are portraying us as the terrorists. Hey, we're the first Americans. What are they talking about? That's my stance right there. Who in their right mind is going to, if they want to call me that, they better remember where they came from. Because we are here. We haven't left. We are the only war that the United States government ever lost in the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Nobody talks about that. So, does that answer your question?
So you do feel it was a political move?
Yes, definitely.
Directly?
Yeah. It's termination of Indian country as we see it as a whole. Bottom line.
Do you, in the future, foresee other political fighting between First Nations people and this particular administration in terms of other easements possibly elsewhere in the states?
It's gonna come from Canada all the way to Florida, all the way down to the Mississippi. Indian country is gonna have to fight that, but that's not our only fight. We just don't fight this issue right here. We've been fighting health issues. We've been fighting educational issues forever and ever and ever. Since the inception of the United States of America, we have been fighting them. And that's where we, as our native nations, the Oceti-Sakowin, stand together. Because we have to think of our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, because if we don't, we're not doing our jobs. And you as America, everybody else as America, need to jump on our bandwagon. because we are the first Americans, like I said. And if anybody has cause, come visit me. Come to my tribe. Come to every one of our tribes and look at how we live. Look at what we have to fight with every day. We fight with poverty. We fight with joblessness. We fight, and it's all because of government policy and procedure. But they seem to forget we have a treaty that's verbiaged in the Constitution of the United States. Article 6, 1851 and 1868 treaties are verbiaged in the Constitution of the United States of America. And I wish everybody would start listening to what they preach, because once you read that, we're here. We're not going anywhere. And President Trump cannot tear that apart. They need to start abiding by the law from the get-go. Let's back up and start thinking about what we did to get to this point right here. Question answered?
Very much, thank you, sir. And I have one for Chairman Frazier. As you said that you're pretty certain that the pipeline at some point, because they weigh 8 tons apiece, will fracture. Has the federal government or the local county given any of the surrounding tribes any reassurance that should this break, that there's a backup plan, that you all will have access to clean water? Have they said, we'll supply you with well water from here or there? Have they given you a backup plan if this thing goes bust?
No. You know, one of the things is right now, which I'm kind of excited about, and I want to thank the Ogallala Water Company. They put forth this concern of just what you're mentioning. So the date hasn't been set, but now South Dakota Rural Water Association is going to be having a meeting to discuss that. What's going to happen? What are we going to do? I can say we have never been contacted by anybody. The Cheyenne River Sioux tribe has not, and from the beginning until now, we have never been contacted officially on anything. And that's something that I'm glad that needs to be brought up. I want South Dakota to wake up. When we first reviewed the environmental assessment in early August, that's when it was given to us. There was no mention of South Dakota. And the Corps of Engineers, Colonel Henderson, one of his duties, he has to interface with all the tribes when he's dealing with the management of the river. And he has not. It seems like they believe that if there was an oil spill, it's going to stop at the North Dakota border. And that's how their thoughts are. You know, we got to wake up South Dakota, downstream America.
So right now, no assurances at all, like, hey, if this pipe bursts, we'll give you guys water from here, we'll give you...
No.
No plans, no backup plan.
There has been no discussion. You know, and that's interesting, there's no type of risk assessments have been done at all. I'm glad you brought that question up. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more question on the phone.
We have a question. It's a follow-up from Tom Christopher with CIBC. Please proceed.
Hi, just one real quick point of clarification. I was just wondering if you could explain within the last few days or weeks any movements that you have made in the camps in terms of moving people to safer ground.
Yeah, there's been movement. Some of the people have been starting to move. You know, one of the things I want to say too, because it's just been getting to me about the camp. A lot of social media put out there by the state of North Dakota saying how our waste is going to contaminate the river. I can't believe that Colonel Henderson would make a statement when what is that oil line going to do? I've been at the camp about a week ago. To me, a lot of the waste, what I seen was sleeping bags, tents. I mean, you got to remember, in the reality, the truth is that blizzards come up and hit in December. People didn't really have time to pack their tents and their sleeping bags and their material and take them with them. I mean, the blizzard hit first part of December, and it's been a tough winter back home. So, But yes, people have been moving. There has been some tents abandoned, you know. And that was another thing that Morton County put out, that there was abandoned vehicles. When I went down there, I didn't see any abandoned vehicles. So, but yes, people are starting to move.
Have they moved south of the river? Is that primarily where they're moving? I've heard some people saying they're moving south of the river. I think Madonna, I think you and Jason and I said that there have been 3 new camps set up south of the river that is partially for people who had been north of the river but realized they need to move because of that flooding.
Yeah, that's where the new Cheyenne River camp is. We're south there, on right by the highway, 1806. And there's across the road from there. I see there's another camp being established. So yeah, people are moving up out of the floodplain. There's no big push to leave before the 22nd or the 23rd of February. I mean, people aren't panicking and running around. Good grief, you know, we understand why we're there, and it's because of the land and protection of the water. So, there's all kinds of avenues that people are taking to get, and it's mainly because it's going to flood. I mean, it's natural, you know, the water is going to tell us, the sacred water will tell us better move, you know, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, it's south of the Cannonball River, south of the on the reservation side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions, or we're gonna close it off? All right, I want to thank everyone for coming and participating today. I want to add just one more thing very briefly. You know, the Dakota Access Pipeline issue really is the intersection of Native American justice and rights, as well as environmental justice. And I wanted to simply point out, you know, there's been some discussion around the environmental impact statement that the Army Corps of Engineers said it was going to conduct. And many groups concerned about this process asked their supporters and people throughout the country to submit comments to the Army Corps regarding the environmental impact statement. More than 400,000 comments were submitted, and it's very disappointing that the Army Corps closed off this process, did not take those comments into account, ignored those comments, and groups like the Sierra Club and Credo and Food and Water Watch and the Oceti-Sakowin Youth and Allies Organization and the International Indigenous Youth Council all collected comments, and at some point very soon we're going to be taking those comments and delivering them to members of the relevant Senate committees that have oversight over the Army Corps. The Army Corps ignored those comments, but we're going to ask members of the Senate to take them into account and hopefully enter them into the public record. So again, thank you very much to everyone for coming and participating today. We appreciate it.